Hello and welcome to my garden here in Alexandria, Virginia. It's a pleasure to have you here today for the virtual sustainable gardening tour of Fairfax County. I've been doing organic gardening here for the last 10 years and I must say it's been a real rewarding experience. So today I want to walk you around my front and backyard and show you how you can create a garden of abundance. As you will notice, my philosophy is less grass and more plants. So without any further ado, let's start the tour in the front yard. This is my favorite spot in my front garden in my favorite season, spring. Flowers, vegetables, bushes, and trees all delight me. This is early April when everything gets green and starts to blossom. We have a corner lot and my backyard is pretty shady, so I have to concentrate on my front areas. I have one round vegetable bed that you can see in the middle. I chose a round shape to make it fit better into the landscape. Let's continue our walk around the house and go to the backyard where more activities are taking place. As you can see, this is my nursery. I have a lot of fun growing plants from seeds and even have started my own seed collection from plants that I grew. This way I get independent from seed sellers. My goal is to spend less and less money each year on seeds or garden supplies. Every year I produce more plants that I can put out in my garden, so I have a surplus that I'm happy to give away. Also, I need to thin out perennial flowers, and instead of throwing them on the compost, I much rather like to give them away. And then I also have lots of volunteer plants coming up each year that are looking for a new home. So I'm very happy to share the wealth of plants with my friends. A lot of supplies can be found in nature. For example, do you see the logs as edges on the left side? When we had a tree trimmed, we just kept the big limbs to make a natural border. Recently I got a new greenhouse which will be very useful for growing plants to start the season a little bit earlier and extend it into the cooler months. Here are a few impressions of the backyard when spring is a bit more advanced and all the plants have come to life. Lettuces and kale plants were doing fantastic this spring with all the rain we had. That picture was taken middle of May. Can you see those leaf bags? I will tell you more about them in a little bit, but keep them in mind. My backyard looks a little bit different than most backyards, especially if you look on the ground. Can you see the wood chips on the ground? I'm a big fan of wood chips to add them on the ground on the walkways. As time goes by, they break down and make good dark soil. I get at least 1 truckload of wood chips per year from a tree service company. Tree service companies love to get you wood chips delivered, and they do this for free because they don't have to pay a disposal fee. So it's a win-win situation. As you might know already, the soil here in the area is mostly clay, and clay is that hard soil that plants do not grow so well in. That's why it is important to add organic matter to the soil. Wood chips also make a great pavement. Besides a better soil, you don't have to mow the lawn. I want to talk a bit about composting. My compost is hiding behind the shed and the bushes. Composting is fantastic. In the left corner you can see the fresh stuff. Some further you see the old compost that's about a year old. I do not spend a dime on bag potting soil anymore. There are so many ways you can build your compost. Don't throw away those leaf bags. Sometimes I collect my neighbors' leaf bags. Instead of watching your local landfill get bigger and more expensive to maintain, try composting for a rich soil. Put all your garden debris like dead plants, your kitchen scraps, grass cuttings, bush and tree trimmings, even wood or wood chips on a pile and watch the transformation. It's magical. After 1 year or so, you end up with good soil that I call the black gold. You can't find a better soil amendment than compost. It loosens the clay soil and makes the nutrients available to your plants so that your plants get healthier. Look at that. Here is the black gold. That's how it looks like when it is sifted. So, I want to motivate you to stop throwing away yard waste and start your own compost. You will be happy that you did. Let's have a look at my flower beds in summer. These beds are supplemented with compost every spring. Flowers and their colors make me really happy. Here are a few impressions of the flower beds. And now we come to the edible part, my vegetable bed. The scenery of the bed can change quickly when plants grow tall. Some plants I let go to seed so I can collect them, especially kale and radishes. Before the plants go to seed, they flower and attract a lot of pollinators. I was really amazed by the number of bees this year. Some impressions of the veggie bed last year. Can you see the zucchini plant in the middle? A little while later it grew quite big. And bigger and just kept producing and producing. Everything is thriving in summer. It's a short way for the veggies from the garden to the house and onto the plate. I love to pick the food just in time for dinner. Let's have a look at my harvest. Strawberries, tomatoes, and more tomatoes, with okra, cucumber, eggplant, garlic, lettuces, and more lettuces. Lettuces are among our favorites. Broccoli, a huge cabbage plant, chives, onions. I tried to take a photo with a bee in the kale flowers. Now we are coming to the end with a few impressions from the 4 different seasons that we are blessed to have. My peach tree is among the first to bloom. Our crabapple tree with lots of blossoms in spring. Crepe myrtle blossoming in summer. Crepe myrtle changing leaf colors in fall. Another picture of it since the color is so vibrant. Winter with snow in front yard. Winter with snow in backyard. I am closing with the picture that I started with. as a reminder that a new cycle begins each year. So now that you have seen my activities, I want to mention that my garden is much more to me than just the place to grow veggies. For me, the garden is the place to connect with nature, experiment to see what works and what doesn't. This learning process is an endless source of wonder for me. I hope I could inspire you today and wish you many rewarding experiences in your garden too.